And welcome everyone to this week's edition of Sports Shorts Radio. Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center. 2 locations to serve you in Baton Rouge. We're at the Town Center location next to Whole Foods, and the OG location, don't forget about it, right there on Perkins and Highland, right across from the entrance of Blue Bayou Water Park. Fellas out there, you want to get that haircut, want to get that beard trim, the 7-step shave, all of those things to relax you, make you look great this weekend. Do go by Roosters. The great thing about Roosters, open 7 days a week. So check them out. Tell them you heard it right here on Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rantz alongside Joel Davis. Buzzy Heidel not with us today because he's at the Masters. He's working the Masters over there. Have you seen him on TV yet? I have not. I have not. He's a marshal mostly. Now, they do move him around technically. He's a marshal on number 10. Pictures. I FaceTime with him Wednesday night. And
during the Masters.
No, of course. They can't even have their phones. You can't bring your phone in. So Wednesday night, imagine this. This is a guy in Buzzy who's an insurance salesman. And as we know, insurance salesmen live the life, sleep in late, play a lot of golf, and, goes hunting whenever he wants, just has a great life. I mean, he's got a beautiful wife, lives in Back Bruley, some beautiful daughters, has everything you want. Yeah. So he's not used to getting up super early and working super late. Mm-hmm. So at the Masters, though, as a marshal, as he got picked about 2 weeks ago to be a marshal, you have to be there pretty much at the crack of dawn until the sun sets. So this dude's on his feet or he's at least working, air quotes. Yeah. He's up, right? He's doing things.
Probably the first day was great. Second day was a little bit to come and work.
Okay.
Third day is ready to check out.
By the third day, Coach, by the time I FaceTime with them, he and Mike Hollander are living together, sharing a little house with Mike Hollander's uncle and all. They rented it for the week. And, I mean, they've had a few cold pops. Yeah. He literally, by 10 o'clock at night, was asleep in a chair in his Masters uniform from that day.
I believe it.
Like, that's where we're at. So
does he get to keep the little white suit?
It's not that's the caddies. He's not wearing the white jumper.
Guys on the side wearing white jumpers too.
No. He wears like the yellow Masters hat and like a shirt or green shirts.
I've been watching, trying to see colors. I see all these people on the sidelines.
You're looking for the guy in the white jumpsuit?
Yes. holding a stick like St. Quiet.
No, that's not what he's doing. Not in the white jumper, the caddy suit.
It's not one of the guys that's back.
No, he blends in with the foliage. You don't know he's there.
Let me tell you something. This is the first golf tournament I've watched because ESPN is replaying it at night. So I don't get to watch it during the day. Somebody coming home at night and watching it. I've been enjoying this so much.
Did you put a duck in on anything? You didn't bet on anything. Did you have a favorite or somebody you were cheering for?
Not really. I mean, I'm always pulling for Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Did he make the cut?
He did make the cut. He snuck in there and made the cut.
He was at 49. I had to turn the TV off. I had to make brownies with the daughter late last night. So, yeah, I know. So, actually, I didn't do any work. I just ate a couple. So, it kind of distracted me. Right. But I missed the end of it. So, when I got back upstairs to watch the end of the tournament, they had ended it. So, I didn't know, and I didn't look it up. So, yeah, I'm watching Phil. I'm glad he's obviously made the cut. I know he was right there. He was 49 when I turned off the TV. But how about your boy, 7 under into the first round and then goes straight par in round 2. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting to be so dominant in the first round and then come back. But that's kind of like par for the course, isn't it? In golf, that's what it's all about. It's being able to play consistently for 4 rounds. Jordan Spieth is looking pretty good. But again, Phil Mickelson's my guy. That's the guy that I would like to see win. Probably won't. Not going to happen. You have to have like a miracle.
Yeah. But God, man, I've just been enjoying just the scenery. It's a shame that you can't see the shapes of the greens, right? It's a shame that you can't see the elevations because that's what makes this golf course so difficult.
They're doing a little better job. I noticed yesterday watching some of the coverage that
it was like one particular hole. I think Rory was on or something, and he was hitting a fairway wood, 3 iron, 3 wood, 5 wood, and I mean. he was like on the downhill of a mountain, just about. I mean, he was practically almost going to fall down unless he leaned back.
Okay, so if you're just thinking golf here, if your ball is on a decline,
Right.
Your ball is below your feet. Do you choke
Up and move your feet in front of the ball. Like, okay, so for example,
Below your feet, you wouldn't choke up.
okay, so right, I mean it's the opposite. So here's my thought. Okay, a 7-iron. Typically, if you're on a flat surface on a 7-iron, that ball should be dead center between your front and back foot, right? That's and as the club gets longer, the ball moves closer to your front foot. So for example, an 8-iron, the ball would be just a tad closer to the back foot. A 9-iron would be a little bit even closer to the back foot.
Next level stuff, by the way. Like, I mean, we're losing people.
Well, I'm getting to my point though. I'm just people that don't play golf. I'm trying to bring them into the. Okay, so the ball sits between your feet based on the club. It doesn't just sit in the same spot. The ball below your feet and above your feet with this golf course changes everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Changes everything.
It changes everything at great stuff. You know what I mean? Like
So
minimal
where do you
elevation
let's
changes.
just say that shot for Roar. He said he was on an incline?
No, he was on a decline. He was
Okay.
on a
Downside of
Okay.
a big old hill.
All right. So where's the ball? Let's say it was a 7-iron. Let's say it was a 7-iron. We know it goes in the middle of your feet. Where does this go now?
Right. I don't know, off the back toe. I mean,
So that's what I'm saying. Is this all written in their little book that they carry in their back pocket?
the guy with the white jumper.
Yeah,
that you've been looking for. That's not Buzzy Heidel.
I mean, every scenario is in that book, right? Every
Well,
distance,
the book is
every
mostly
distances and clubs.
but a lot of green reads, right? A lot of green diagrams and how it rolls and how quick and all that.
So you need an Encyclopedia Britannica for this golf course.
The week after Buzzy gets to play the Masters at some Augusta National at some point in May, because all of the volunteer marshals get to come back for one round in May.
Wow.
That's their payment basically, because they donate themselves for a week.
Crazy.
The week after he comes back, we will get the full breakdown for an hour.
And I want to know
and everything he hit and all that. So just prepare yourselves, folks, out there for that.
How many
Saturday.
strokes do you think that course adds to a Buzzy's
See,
game?
they're going to play different tees than the pros and all that. He already knows it's only 61, 6,200. He's a long hitter. Normally 65, 66 is where he'd be looking to play. So that benefits him. So it's going to be great. Today, by the way,
Justin Rose still in the lead. He shot even par yesterday after going 7 under on Thursday, which is crazy. So he's got a 1-shot lead above Harmon and Zalatoris. I got nothing on Zalatoris. Both of them -6. Leishman is -5. He's in 4th place, tied with Spieth. And then Weisberger, Finau, Thomas, and Kim, Champ, and Matsuyama are all -4. By the way, see, Joel, you can testify. See my app right here?
Sure.
See the one with the yellow stars?
Uh-huh.
Finau,
Yeah.
Smith, Cameron Smith, John Rahm, and Reed. Yeah, Jesse Reed. Those are 4 yellow stars. That means those are the 4 guys I bet to win the Masters.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
I still have 4 picks that are in the top 32, and of course Finau and Smith are in the top 13.
So you picked Finau, the guy you'd have no idea who he is.
No, of course I know who Tony Finau is.
No, you don't.
Yes, I did. This guy's he's been fantastic the last couple of years. And by the way, I love his swing. He takes such a minimal backswing, like it doesn't look like he's even
Effortless.
swinging hard, and the ball just jumps off his club.
That's magic.
It is. Masters going on, of course, in Augusta. Yes, 70% chance of rain today. We'll see if it falls.
Oh, man.
And if it does, that's going to affect the scoring. It should go
If
lower.
it was anything like what we experienced last night, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
The rain. I got up, I had like a half a tree in my yard.
I didn't know idea it was going to be like that. Did you?
No. I mean, it was just, I got up in the middle of the night because I'm older now. I got to get up in the middle of the night to do some things. And I'm telling you, dude, my house looked like a disco ball show. I mean, I have so many open windows in my house from the back. I'm telling you, it was like a disco, dude. It was so much lightning and thunder. I loved it, dude. I stayed up for a couple minutes and just checked it out.
Well, I know I saw some lights were out on my way here from Denham Springs to Roosters Men's Grooming Center, where we're at in Town Center. There was some traffic lights that were out. I saw some pictures of Parkview Baptist over at their softball field. Some of the fences were down. I mean, there's some people that definitely have some damage issues. By the way, you can listen to us, of course, every Saturday morning from 10 to noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. But also, if you want to follow us along on Facebook, go over there to the Facebook page. Can I get one of those? I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Can go to the Facebook page, of course, 104.5 Facebook page, or like us on Sports Shorts. Go to type in Sports Shorts and give us a follow. We've got some comments from folks who are watching us on Facebook. Lathan Hahn says, Ronnie, Joel should be given hitting lessons after the bombs he's dropped in Ancient Athletes softball.
Sure. Thank you, Layton. I appreciate you.
Jonathan Joe Nate Landry said, just watch Joel launch one that Tiger Woods would be jealous of. We are not worthy. What's that about?
I put a video of me hitting the golf ball on the green yesterday.
On the green? Where were y'all playing?
It wasn't Webb.
Was it Webb?
It was a short par 4.
Clearly.
No, it was about 300.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it was probably about 320. I was right in front of the green. It looked like it was on the green.
So it went on the green.
It was in front of the green, but it looked like, why am I even telling you? Because it looked like it's, well, we were in a tournament yesterday. I got asked to play in a tournament last second. I hustled up and did it. And I went out there and didn't have a really great day, but there was a huge crowd behind us. Huge crowd. I mean,
You got jacked up?
this was the St. Charles golf tournament.
Oh, the comments.
So they know how to put a tournament on, brother. Let me tell you, unbelievable. Every tee box, there were like bacon wrap,
Sure.
rib. It was
Just like a
unbelievable.
Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame golf
Okay,
tournament.
incredible. Drinks, every single tee box. So we just happened to get to this tee box, and I mean, there was just 1 million people at this tee box, a lot of people, and then we were waiting, so we kind of got to know some people. We were eating, and I like a crowd. I like to show off a little bit. I would prefer a lot of eyes on me as opposed to 0 eyes on me if I'm going to be, doing some athletic stuff. So I looked over at Craig Lamont, and I said, Craig, I'm going to do my Venus swing. I'm going to get some attention here. I'm going to go, when I hit the ball, like, with those tennis
Venus
players.
Williams.
Yeah, Venus Williams. So I'm gonna make a big loud moan when I hit the ball, and I'm going for it. I don't care if it goes right, left, whatever. I'm gonna swing, and I'm just gonna crush it. So of course I hit it perfectly, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, great shot!" These people have no idea how bad I played
Right.
the 14
Before
holes
and
before
after,
that.
they have no
They have
idea.
no idea what I did before that and after that. All they know is they know how great I was in that one specific moment. And yes, I was phenomenal. Crushed it. Did the big moan. It's on the Facebook if you want to find it.
Yeah, go to Joel Davis.
Yeah, it's on there. And the bombs, yeah, that's true too. The softball bombs. I mean, we talk about that.
By the way, over at Roosters Men's Grooming Center.
Can I remind you, I'm 51 years old. I'm 51 years old, still do.
The up teams.
It has nothing to do with that. I played with where everybody else played.
They have the gentleman's choice over here. Roosters, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. It's the best of the best for the man that has it all. It's the Roosters Club Cut Haircut, which is a haircut service with shampoo, hot facial towel.
And a neck shave, also combined with the Rooster's signature 7-step shave, a relaxing facial service with a close shave and deep cleansing. Takes you about an hour to get it all done. It's fantastic. Check it out. It's the gentleman's choice at Roosters in Baton Rouge. We'll take a break. We can come back. We'll talk about LSU baseball. Where did that come from last night? They explode. 17 hits, 15 runs. We'll get to that too. 17 hits, 15 runs. Are the Tigers back? We'll tell you about that when we return on Sports Shorts, presented by LeBear's Casino.
I mean, dude, every team was like bacon wrap,
Right.
fillets, bacon wrap, shrimp.
Well, those schools, it's so easy for them to get people. They don't have to do anything.
The people that were at the cooking schools are just probably that kids in school.
Yeah, local businesses, I mean, especially if you're in LaPlace. Think about it. If you're in LaPlace, like, that's your market. Like, that's it. That's your people.
I mean, every team had lights, spread of drinks.
Right.
I mean, that's what
Was Monica out there riding around? Frank Monica?
I never saw it.
No, saw.
We didn't even finish it.
So the football coach at St. Charles Catholic is also the head baseball coach, and Bourgeois does that at Episcopal. So, and they're actually related, which is funny, they're like cousins or something. But the baseball coach, who's been the head baseball coach for a bunch of years, he has been the defensive coordinator for 16 years on the football team. And then Monica just retired, and they moved him up to head coach. And I actually did a St. Charles Catholic U High game the other day, and I said, baseball, and I said, are you going to continue to do both? And he said, yeah, as long as it goes well and there's no issues or whatever, I'm going to do both. No, this was Wayne Stein is his name. But like this dude, I mean, he is so river, like, what's it say? No. I'm going to call this fucking guy. Just got a call that we have hot microphones. Make sure you turn us off in the commercials so we don't get it. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Thanks. Maybe.
He's a cop. He used to work for the station. Part-time. Dude, the Pelicans have 3 guys.
What's that?
The Pelicans have 3 guys at 20 years old that are going to be superstars.
If they can keep them all, you know what I mean? They're all going to try to jet the second they can.
Yeah, dude. Our Lewis is a second-year player. Freaking Jackson Hayes is a third-year player, and Zion's a
Second-year player. I'm sorry, Carlos a first-year player, and he's getting minutes. Dude, Jackson Hayes is a freak of nature. Between Jackson Hayes and Zion Williamson together, I mean, dude, they're gonna if they stay together, they can keep this team together. They're gonna dominate this league, bro. Pelicans are freaking loaded with young talent. Yes, Philadelphia Sixers, man, which is freaking right. They're just infuriating, dude. They'll beat the Sixers and then lose the Magic.
And welcome everyone back to Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino.
Don't forget, over at LeBear's, great place to watch the Masters over at the Stadium Sports Bar, just inside the front entrance of LeBear's to the left there. Great food and TVs everywhere, giant screens. So good place to go by today and tomorrow. Check out some of the Masters coverage. We're over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center next to Whole Foods. And Roosters is open 7 days a week, 2 locations to serve you in Baton Rouge. We're at the town center location. Don't forget you folks off of I-10 and Highland. They have a Perkins and Highland Road location right in front of the entrance to Blue Bayou Water Park. And go by there, check them out. Open 7 days a week. For the gentlemen, Roosters Men's Grooming Center. They also have an app where you can make an appointment. So download the Roosters Men's Grooming Center app on your phone. Ronnie Rantz alongside Joel Davis, Jay Rochelle on our Facebook page asking for the breakfast review today. Jay, we're going with a home cooked breakfast review. Made a little.
Didn't cook anything, bro.
Absolutely. Scrambled eggs. I mean, look, today I'm not proud. It wasn't like from scratch or anything. I heated up a croissant. I did make some scrambled eggs, threw a little cheese in there, and then had the already cooked bacon that you heat up in the microwave.
That's not bacon.
But I mean, I was in a hurry. I needed to get it in.
You need to get one of those dry fryers.
I had one. I didn't like it. You love it?
I like it for bacon.
Okay.
Okay, so what you do is you get one of those, you put 2 packs of bacon in there, and just cook the 2 packs of bacon. It's like having beef jerky. You just put that in a Ziploc bag, and just take it with you. Now, if you do this, you're going to eat it all in one day.
Of course.
Because you can't stop. It's like eating Doritos. And I mean, my wife will cook me a whole bag, a whole thing of bacon, dude. And I'll eat it. I'm gnawing it. Sometimes I don't even make it out of the neighborhood.
Right.
But I mean, it's the best bacon cooker. It's the best bacon cooker
I wish
ever.
I had that info because I got one of those. Like $100.
Oh, dude.
Got the fryer cooker thing at like CVS
Oh.
or something. This was 3-4 years ago, and okay, it makes great sweet
Potato fries. You know how often I eat sweet potato fries? Once a year. I tried to make some like pork chops in there. But see, that's not chicken. Yeah, I gave it to my daughter. She's using it. So at least it's getting used.
There's new ones. They got these good ones. You need to get one and just put it on. Just do your bacon. Just do bacon and chicken wings.
How long does it take to do the bacon? Bacon in the oven.
No. 40 minutes. That's absurd. Nobody has 40 minutes. Nobody has 40 minutes, dude. No. Air fryer, just get it, I don't know, 5-6 minutes? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I've made that number up completely. I don't think my wife would stand over for any longer than that. So is anybody?
So Jay wants to know what was the score of my home cooked breakfast.
My bad, Jay.
Better than Jack in the Box, because that experience is always sketchy. I'm going to give my homemade croissant.
Scrambled eggs with cheese, pre-cooked bacon, just reheated. I did put the croissant in the oven, right? So it had a little crisp to it. Threw a little mayo on there, a little blue plate on the croissant. I'm going to give it a solid 7.1. 7.1, 7.2.
Your scores are a little all over the map. Like I mean, sometimes
you think 7.1 is high or low?
I think it's kind of high. I mean, you don't leave yourself.
I mean, like a homemade croissant sandwich.
It's not going to be a 7.1. Now they've got those frozen ones.
The Jimmy Dean style.
Oh, come on, dude. There's a couple of Jimmy Dean frozen ones that are knock your socks off.
Joel Davis, Ronnie Rantz,
all right, so LSU baseball last night. I don't know where this came from. Just glad it did. The Tigers last night explode. They led 9-2 going into the last inning. They scored 6 runs in the top of the ninth, just to add insult to injury and just pound away Kentucky. But the story of the night outside of the offense with the 17 runs and, Cruz hit a homer, Morgan hit a homer. These are freshmen that are doing their thing. Landon Marceau, the Destrehan High product, who is in his 3rd year at LSU. And I was talking to a scout yesterday, and I said, where do you think Landon Marceau will go? And he said he turned in his ranking as a 3rd rounder. He said, but if he, continues to pitch really well, and he can maybe go as high as late 2nd round. Landon Marceau, 7 1/3 innings last night against Kentucky. He only gave up 7 hits, 2 runs, only 1 was earned. Did not walk anybody. That's the thing that makes him so unbelievably impressive. He did strike out 8. He threw only 99 pitches. So he'll be fresh and ready to go next week. And just a dominant performance. LSU scored 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 4th, 5 in the 5th. They led 8-0. They led 9-0 before he finally gave up a run in the 6th and a run in the 7th. So Landon Marceau, on a rare start, got some run support from LSU.
Kentucky's not very good, dude.
Kentucky came in 19-8, 5-5. Now 5-4 in the SEC before the game. They're 5-5. LSU was 1-8. So
Kentucky played prior to this.
Oh, please.
I guarantee that it's going to be like a Missouri. They didn't play Vanderbilt, and if they did, that's their 4 losses, or their 3 of the losses. Kentucky's not very good, dude. They're not they're not very good. LSU, everybody has.
LSU's good?
No, they're not very good. They're terrible. So congratulations.
Missouri 2 out of 3.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
They
Swept Auburn.
Terrible.
And then they got swept by Mississippi State.
There you go. So Kentucky is just a little bit worse last night than LSU is. LSU scored 15 runs. Congratulations. I wouldn't get excited about it if I'm an LSU fan.
Dude, anytime
They did.
anytime you have 17 hits
Come on.
and you have a pitcher that throws into the eighth, I don't care if you're playing East
Okay.
or Southeastern.
You excited? Congratulations.
That's a very.
My alma mater is not McNeese. Oh, Southeastern. I thought you said McNeese.
No, I said East or Southeastern.
Okay.
My point is that like 17 runs.
And multiple homers and a pitcher that throws in the eighth. What, you can't do any better. Like that's the goal. No matter if you're playing Louisiana College or Mississippi State, that's the goal, and they hit their goal.
The only thing that you should be excited about is they hit it on the road. They hit it on the road.
Hostile environment.
Lexington. They're just, whenever I think hostile environment, I think Lexington, Kentucky. By the way, LSU, the
I will
game.
say this: congratulations to LSU with their ability to hit home runs. They do hit a lot of home runs. Who do they have right now? They have like
50. LSU's got 50 home runs in 30 games.
That's fantastic.
By the way, when Buzzy Heidel helped cheer on the Tigers to that 2009 national championship, well, they actually had 85 like that. But last year, 2 years ago, 2019 full season, LSU hit 64. So they're going to shatter that number. LSU 50 homers. I think they went into the game tied for second in the country in homers.
They can definitely hit the baseball when they get a home run. The problem is that's just so consistency across the board through the entire game.
There was last night. Congratulations. They won a game. They'll probably win the series. Kentucky's not very good. I think that they need to sweep the series to get me excited, to get me thinking that there's something going on here. Of course, Mississippi State swept them pretty easily, but Mississippi State's pretty good.
Well, those folks that have followed along with Sports Shorts know that Buzzy and I made a bet last week.
Oh,
on the show.
You definitely don't want
And the
them to
bet
sweep.
was that LSU has to.
12
This was
games.
going into the Saturday game.
Yeah.
Last week the series was Thursday, Friday.
He wins at 12 now.
12 or more wins. Buzzy wins the bet. In the SEC, there's 30 games.
in the SEC right now.
That game changed because they lost that game.
Right.
The numbers.
No, but had he no, yeah, right. Now the number's 12 or more. So if LSU wins 12 SEC games out of the 30, and right now they're 2-8, so they're a third of the way there.
That means they gotta go 10-10 in their last 20 games in order to get to 12 wins.
Well, they're going to win. They're probably going to sweep Kentucky. I think they'll probably sweep. They should. Kentucky's not very good, but they'll probably drop one. They'll probably drop one. They'll probably drop one to Kentucky that they shouldn't have. They'll probably go ice cold today. They'll have like 3 hits. 2 of them will be bombs. There'll be 1-run home runs. That's just kind of what we've been seeing throughout the year. So, for Buzzy's sake, they need to win both these games. They need to win both these games. Kentucky
For the
terrible team.
For the Buzzy bet, LSU's got to go 10-10 in their last 20 games in order to win the bet. But in order to get to the NCAA tournament, they've got to go 11-9. They've got to get to 13 wins, in my opinion.
That wasn't a bet, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean that's what they got to do to probably keep everybody's job. I mean they got to get to an NCAA.
When you say everybody's job, everybody
like
but the
Pulmonary
guy,
and the staff.
You think Pulmonary's on the hook? You think he's on the hook?
I think it's a conversation that will have a strong conversation that will be had if they don't make they don't make postseason.
It's only been 12 years since they've done anything. But okay, gotcha. And what I mean by that is putting a number back up on the Intimidator.
Yeah, well, it's been 12 years since they won a national
I don't
championship.
think they should. Put the
Is it
Intimidator.
even the Intimidator anymore?
No,
Like
not.
it's
since 2009, dude.
it's
That's
the
like a long
relic.
time
It's
ago.
the relicator.
Dude, they literally haven't won a championship. You can literally be born and go through puberty. That's how long it's been since they've actually won a championship. You can have someone born.
But they played for the national championship in 2017.
That's a long time.
2017, they were in the championship finals, Joel. And
That seems
if they don't extend Russell Reynolds and try to make him be something he's not, he went 3 innings and was great. Get him out of there and left him in too long. You know, I'm just saying they should not have pitched him in the 4th, or they should have let him go out there. And the minute he walked the first guy, he pulled him.
What seems longer ago? LSU's championship with Buzzy Heidel, or the Saints winning Super Bowl? What seems?
Ooh, that's good.
longer?
That's good.
What's been?
Oh man.
What's further from your mind?
That's
I'll say LSU baseball. LSU baseball, I don't even remember. That's so long ago. I don't even
it was the same year, which is crazy.
I don't remember.
Actually, LSU baseball was in June of 2009. LSU football was in February of 2010. Because the game. Saints. I'm sorry. Winning a Super Bowl was 6, 7. I know, but it's 7 months later. That makes a difference. And
That's why LSU seems longer ago.
I think LSU baseball seems longer for a lot of reasons, Joel, and that's partly because the Saints winning the Super Bowl was such an epic, giant thing. LSU had won 5 in 10 years. It wasn't crazy. The Saints, we never thought the Saints were going to win the Super Bowl in our lifetime, and
The
so
whole week leading up to that was Dwight Freeman's ankle.
That's right.
They were going to kill us.
Saints were a double-digit underdog.
Yes.
Were they really?
They were.
You think they were double-digit?
They went down 10-0 in that game early. It seemed like it was over, and then all of a sudden the Saints turned it on and they went on to win the football game. But that doesn't seem as long ago as LSU and Buzzy Heidel winning a national
Where
championship.
did you watch that game? The Saints Super Bowl?
I was at my buddy Tuck's house up in his man room. Yeah.
Just you and him?
I think we had like maybe one or two. I think Jason Tarver was
Why
there
not, like a bigger party?
because I want to watch the game. If they're ever in a Super Bowl again, I'm going to be watching the game. No, I don't have the money for that. Of course I don't.
Is it strictly a money thing?
It's a money thing. Yeah, because you talk about. Yeah. I would rather go to Destin for a week and just live it up than go to an.
Tell you what, it was.
I'd rather watch the game on TV so I can remember it. I don't remember because if I go to the game, I'm going to
Get plastered. All right, I'm gonna get.
Just control yourself.
Nope. I'm gonna get plastered. For example, I will never forget this. Do you remember when LSU played? I think it was Oklahoma in the national championship, and Laryngitis was the linebacker.
That's Laryngitis and he's Ohio State.
Okay, that's what we. Okay, I'm by that. All right, back in 2007 when we played Laryngitis, and I know this because I got so hammered before the game. I don't remember the game. All I remember is seeing is Jay Grimes sat behind me. What? Anyway, Jay Grimes sat behind me, the weatherman. He was behind me. That's all I remember from, and I just remember them getting so irritated with me and the dude I went with. Because I think he was. I think him and the other 30 people behind us and Ohio State fans, we ran them off towards the second half of the game because we were just obnoxious and just terrible people. Just drunk, dude. Just because I got to go to the pregame tent, the big Cox tent, and the AT&T tent. I got invited to that. I had absolutely not because I was spending a bunch of money with my old furniture store in Lafayette. I was spending a bunch of advertising dollars with KLAX TV or whoever it was, and they gave me 2 tickets for signing a new contract. So I signed the new contract. I got 2 free tickets and took a buddy of mine, and we got hammered. I got hammered. Went to the tent, drank all day, and I don't remember the game. I remember the game. All I remember was Jay Grimes was there. I don't remember the game, and I called that dude laryngitis literally all day.
He's Joel Davis. He's got a drinking
But that's
problem. Ronnie Rantz.
only during championship games.
Center in town center, 2 locations serving Baton Rouge, Perkins and Highland, that mostly interested. Blue Bonnet Boulevard. And if you like debate, I really need to get a haircut. Roosters is open
7 days a week, Monday through Friday from 10 to 7. Today, Saturdays are open from 9 to 5, and on Sundays, open from noon until 5. So no excuses to get out there, get that haircut, get looking right, or get the 7-step shave. They've got the kids, young man's express cut for the kids. They got head shaves, they got beard trims, you name it. As well, facial waxing. You need to get some of that, Joel, over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center. Be back with more Sports Shorts presented by the Bears right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino. Ronnie Rantz, Joel Davis over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center in Baton Rouge. For you golfers out there with Masters Weekend going on, let me tell you about this upcoming event that I'm putting on through the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. It's May 2nd and 3rd. It's going to be May 3rd is the golf tournament benefit in Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. It's at Latour Golf Course in Matthews. You ever played Latour?
I've never.
It's a David Toms design golf course down the bayou, kind of near Thibodeau on your way to like Thibodeau. It's fantastic, right there off the interstate. And it's a beautiful golf course, challenging golf course. We're going to have past and present Hall of Famers and other Louisiana sports celebrities. And that is on May the 3rd, Monday, May the 3rd, 10 a.m. start. We'll have a $25,000 putting contest. We're going to have Mercedes-Benz, a hole-in-one. You get a hole-in-one on a hole, you win a Mercedes-Benz car. A lot of food and drink all over.
Has that ever happened
Yeah.
at your tournament?
Well, I did have a kid. We put on a tournament at Oak Wing in Alexandria a few years ago. And when you do these hole-in-one packages and you buy the insurance, you pick a hole. There's always 4 par 3s. You pick a hole that is the hole-in-one hole. And generally it's about 175 yards is about the distance. And so, all right, so that's got the car on it, and that's the one that can give away a car. And in this case, for May 3rd, we'll do a Mercedes-Benz. But what comes with the package now is you get something for the other 3 par 3s. So if someone makes a hole-in-one on there, you might get a set of irons or a $1,000 gift card for a wardrobe to Callaway or something, right? Well, I had a high school golfer, I think from Alexandria Senior High, who was playing with his dad. And he made a hole-in-one on one of those that won like the $1,000 gift card for some swag, And it was about a 120-yard shot. It was a short par 3, and he made it. And
That's nice.
And that's pretty cool. But since we've been putting on Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame events, that's the only par 3 that I've seen in the last 4 years. I mean, the par and hole-in-one that I've seen in the last 3-4 years. But this one will be May 3rd at Latour Golf Course, and then the night before. On Sunday, May the 2nd, we're going to have our pairings party from 6 to 9 at Flanagan's Restaurant Bar in Thibodeau. We're going to have open bar, past hors d'oeuvres, $25,000 putting contest, DJ, live and silent auction. Really, really cool event. So come by there. And we've also got a hotel block at the Holiday Inn there where we're putting up folks. So we'll go to lasportshall.com. That's lasportshall.com, and check out the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame golf tournament coming up May the 2nd and 3rd at Latour in Louisiana. All right, Joel. So you've been grinding on the Pelicans, man.
Oh my God, I love the Pelicans, man. I just wish they could be more consistent when it comes to playing lesser teams or teams that are, they should be like Orlando. Teams like that they seem to lose to, but then they come and beat Philadelphia 76ers
last night.
Zion goes for 37, 15 rebounds, 8 assists.
Says nobody in the NBA's done that this year. Almost a triple-double. Zion Williamson in his 2nd year, dude. To me, dude, he is going to be the best player. He's the face of the NBA, man. He's so good. They've got him playing point guard at half the time. He's controlling the basketball. He's bringing it up. It's opening up everything. Now you got Jackson Hayes playing well. Jackson's going to be a monster. He already is a monster. He's just getting better and better every single game. And then you got Kyrie Lewis, who is a 20-year-old point guard that's like lightning. They're so young. They're so talented. Then you put a little Brandon Ingram in there, who's he's up and down, but he's still an all-star. He's a great player. Dude, they're loaded. They're loaded for the future. This is a team that can win an NBA championship within the next 4 years.
Can we open up the attendance, please?
I know, it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. No, don't go there. No, we're not doing that. No. Wear a mask or don't come.
Wear a mask, don't get the vaccination. I mean, come on, folks. I mean,
They literally, like I saw an article the other day, they literally have vaccinations going bad because nobody's getting them at this point. But yet we're gonna worry about. If you care about it, go get vaccinated, wear a mask. If you don't care, then it's on you. But the bottom line is that, open the damn thing up and let some people come in there to see Zion Williamson and this Pelicans team play.
They deserve people. Those players deserve to be able to play in front of people right now. Zion Williamson is going to be the best player in the NBA. Within a year.
101-94, they knock off the 76ers, who are 35-17. Philadelphia is 35-17. The Pelicans improved to 23-29 on the season.
9 losses versus teams under 500.
Pels, if you're keeping track, 4 games out of 8th place. So they're 4 games out of the playoffs. They only have San Antonio in front of them. San Antonio's 2 games out of 8th place. Memphis that holds down that final spot. Do you think the Pels catch them?
If this team can just stay healthy, and if the team wants to make the playoffs, I think they can. I think that they held Zion Williamson out. Let's say they lose by a game. Let's say they don't make the playoffs by 1 game. Think back right before the All-Star break when they held Zion Williamson out on that Friday night versus an under 500 team. I can't remember who they were playing, but it was
A team that they could probably beat at home. They held Zion Williamson out of that game, but then he came back on Sunday and played in the All-Star game. And they ended up losing that game to a team that they probably could have beaten. So then they had 4 games versus poo-poo teams just last week, back to back, teams that they should be able to beat. And they held Zion Williamson out, Jackson Hayes was out, Kyle Lewis was out, Brandon Ingram was out. They're playing with guys that they just picked up off the street, and they're almost winning games. So if they can just stay healthy, yes, they can absolutely make the playoffs. I just don't know if this organization wants to make the playoffs this year. I really don't. I really don't. I mean, it's almost like they're playing for a draft pick. It just really seems like that sometimes. I don't want to hear he's out because of a toe, and then he plays 3 nights later.
There was
Brett Favre played with a broken thumb. All right, he threw the football with a broken thumb. Literally had a broken thumb, played football. I mean, give me a break.
there was a draft projection. You know how those mock drafts have come out, and there was a mock draft that we talked about yesterday in Daniel Candy that had Cameron Thomas of LSU going to the Pelicans with the 13th pick in the draft. And the thought is they need a shooter. Obviously, you know, from a local standpoint, it's a cool angle, but 6'4", I believe.
I'd rather be 6'6".
Yeah, I'd rather be 7 foot, but the bottom line is 6 foot. Yeah. But I thought Hanny made a great point, which was, you know, Kenny played defense. You know, like if you're going to take him 13th pick overall, you know, you got to get him in the gym and put him through the Hoosiers workout program and see if he can. You know. Yeah. But he could be a guy. I mean, he's going to be a guy that comes off the bench, you know, initially.
I want to do that at 13. It's going to be ball.
By the way, I lied. 6'3", 180.
That's too short. That's too short for me. I want to do that 6'6" that can play defense. That's what we need. We need an enforcer. We need a defensive enforcer on this team. So whoever in the draft is 6'6" and can guard anybody
you put out there. And you need like, remember when Drew Holiday was on this team? You needed someone to shut somebody down. They put Drew on. It didn't matter who they were. Drew would go out there and shut them down. We need an enforcer.
I don't think that LSU are going to really play defense
Until Zion buys in. And because as he goes, this team goes. And if he doesn't think, or Ingram doesn't think defense is important, then nobody else is going to care. And so to me, it all starts with them. If those two guys, it's like LeBron James or Michael Jordan, when they cared about defense, the rest of the team cared about defense. And it's all a waste of time until they buy in.
Because Brandon Ingram's an offense, minded guy. And I can see that's the guy get blown by it. He's long enough to play defense. He's just so skinny. Jackson Hayes is already bigger than him. Like Jackson Hayes came in looking like Brandon Ingram, and now Jackson Hayes is thick, man. He's starting to thicken up.
He's starting to look like, he's starting to look like Jimmy Graham. He's starting to look like Jimmy Graham running down the court, dude. I mean, he's thickening up, dude. He's going to be a force.
Not that much.
I'm talking about when Jimmy Graham first came to Saints. He looked, Jimmy wasn't gigantic.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'm just telling you, in year 2, he doesn't look like a lanky dude like Ingram does.
Ingram looks like he's got food issues.
By the way, Sports Shorts, if you want to give us a follow up Facebook, go to the 1045.
The ESPN Baton Rouge Facebook page. We're on there live from Roosters. We'll have Dan Canterbury join us in hour number 2. He'll be by here. We'll have Tommy Chrysan with his Court Street Cafe segment. And so we got some comments on 1045 ESPN's Facebook page. Also, give us a like on our Sports Shorts Facebook page. Craig Schilling says, sure hope Buzz is doing the reverse rain dance headed his way, meaning the rain is coming to Augusta. It's probably going to delay things or maybe push some things back to tomorrow. Who knows? But it's so dry that it can absorb that rain for sure. There may just be a delay. Buzz is on hole number 10, so keep a lookout for him. Look for a guy who doesn't belong. That'd be him. Let's hope it breaks up a little before it gets there. Also, Jay Rochelle said, new fundraising idea for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. In addition to the golf tournament, which is May 3rd at Latour Golf Course, a breakfast cook-off.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that at the golf tournament.
Hey, I was talking about Brandon Ingram. How skinny he is. You ever watch Carol Burnett?
Back in the day, sure.
She's pretty fun. You remember when she did the segment of Gone with the Wind? When she came down the stairs and she had the curtain rod.
I vaguely. I mean, I watched all that when I was a kid. It's been a minute.
Well, she didn't have a dress or something, so she took the curtains down. She had a curtain rod as, across her shoulders,
Right.
curtains for her dress. That's what Brandon Ingram was. He's all shoulders, but
Listen,
a curtain rod.
you know what's funny is that Brandon Ingram up close and personal, like when we went to a game a couple of years ago, and I mean, it's unbelievable how skinny he is.
He's super
I mean, you almost feel like, oh my God, if somebody bumps into him, they're going to break him. But yet, he is one of the best players in the league. He's Joel Davis. I'm Ronnie Rantz. We'll take a break. Be back with more Sports Shorts live from Roosters Men's Grooming Center in Town Center right after this. I want you to get a reaction. I want you to get a reaction to
It's me, huh?
Yes, sir.
Me and Jimbo Ranch.
Jimbo Ranch. That's what
You ever hear that story? I'm coaching the kid and he said, you got to call somebody. You got to call Ronnie. Okay? Well, they call Jimbo. Okay, so I'm saying, no, it's just Roger talk. So I'm looking at the phone, I can't find it. He's right there. He's not in his phone. Jimbo Ranch.
Like the ranch dressing. Yeah. And then, wait, right, and maybe he puts that in because
It's a nickname or something funny,
No,
right?
he thought it was his nickname.
So his last banquet that he had where when he's retiring and they have the final banquet over at the and I'm emceeing a thing and he gives me the program like right before the start of the banquet, like, hey, this is the part you're going to be. He had Ronnie Ranch, at least there's Ronnie, and then RANC all over it. Like Ronnie Rantz is going to do this part. Ronnie Rantz is going to do that part. Like I'm like, and then I coach, what is that? Oh, I didn't do that, Jimbo. That was somebody else.
Yeah, like I would have done it.
Yeah,
Right?
like, oh, my
That's
God.
somebody else.
Yeah, I would not know his last name is Rance because I never did uniforms and name tags and
Right.
So crazy.
travel lists and
That's
meal
hilarious.
money lists.
Every time you have on the radio, I can still hear it. Well, let me tell you, Jimbo.
Yeah.
He still calls you Jimbo.
All right, brother. See you later.
Hey, we got the EA last night. We beat EA
Nice.
at their place. We're 14-3 in our last 17 games.
You pounded Bernard. They're not very good this year.
Who's that?
Bernard, did you pound them?
Yeah, we were meeting in the second. This guy did not want to play the game. Coach,
The little young guy?
yeah, coach. He called
Not a
me
big
last night
fan.
and says, with weather and everything, we might move the game up to 2:30. Can we play JV varsity doubleheader? No. Why would we do that? He goes, well, the weather and everything. Well, if you're going to move it up, why don't we play a varsity doubleheader and forget the JV? Like, because we weren't even supposed to play JV there. Well, then he comes around and goes, well, we have district games and everything else. Then why'd you schedule it? Like, it's not like they just showed up. Then we go there and it starts to sprinkle in the second game. We're up 7-2 in the third inning. Oh, perfect. Well, lightning. That's it. Yeah, lightning came. Lightning, that's it. We're done. Hey, go home. Yeah, here, we'll give you some food. Go home. But you know what I like about Menard? I said they got a hunting camp at the baseball field.
Well, J.C. Holt was there.
Huh?
J.C. Holt was the coach there.
Yeah,
And
they built that.
But they hired this little guy.
He's bad.
I know. Like, I don't know why. We met him like 2 years ago, right when he got the job. He's just not good at even like the due diligence part of everything. Like, he doesn't return calls. He doesn't,
He just doesn't do all that.
I tried to call. I've been talking to Shan. When did you get the job? 6 months ago. I couldn't find your number. LHSA website. Okay. Yeah, go to the LHSA website. That's a good thing to go to. It's anyway. I hope we play him in the playoffs because we'll pound him in the ground.
With that
Facility, they can get a good coach. Okay.
It's a little empty. I put some trees.
Yeah.
Just kind of space.
But there's a tremendous opportunity. You're the only private school in that area. Come on. You got open enrollment in the parish, so when you come out of 8th grade, you can choose wherever you want to go. So there's no districts, boundaries.
It should be
Right. Absolutely.
The hunting camp. Those guys.
Yeah. Right. It's the old coaches committee, back in the day. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember meeting. That's been there a good minute. That's not something that's 2 years old or whatever. I remember 10 years ago or 8 years ago going in there and having a meeting. It's a pretty neat little place. And I'm sure it's gotten better since then.
Next Saturday is a big game. We're playing Catholic.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna be nice.
Are you going to be able to have your best? You can have your guy? Good. And they probably will throw off, so that's good.
He'll come back on Saturday. Only pitching 4 innings on Monday. We should win.
And welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts Radio, presented by the Bears Casino. We're over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center. Thanks to Joel Davis, joined us hour number one. Hour number two, Dan Canterbury stopping by with us. Coach, how are you?
Doing fine, Ronnie. Rain today, but baseball coming on TV this
5:30.
afternoon. 5:30. The Tigers were sweating yesterday.
17 hits and 15 runs. And nobody saw that coming. That was pretty nice output.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's a lot goes into it on SEC weekend, as you know. We'll probably talk about that a little bit.
Let's time for our weekly segment with Tommy Chrysan, courtesy of Court Street Cafe and Port Allen. TK, how are you today, man? So what was your reaction to LSU? I feel like they took a little frustration last night with that 15-2 win over Kentucky in game one of the series. I mean, they I don't know if they've scored 15 runs. If you added up their last X amount of games, it'd be a minute. LSU has scored 17 runs prior to last night's game in their last 5 SEC games combined. So
Well,
that gives you an idea.
Ronnie, the pitching was a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different than what they faced at Vandy, right?
Yeah.
And Tennessee was such a weird series. You out-hit Tennessee in every single game that weekend, and then you have 2 good starts out of your 3 starting pitchers, and you get swept. That's just such a low percentage thing that happened. But in your opinion, Tommy, is this a must-win weekend for LSU if they want to, try to make an NCAA tournament, meaning they've got to win at least 2 out of 3, or is there a path that if they do lose the rest of the weekend, they can still accomplish that goal? I want to get both of you guys' reaction. Cano, your first. Landon Marceau. Last night pitched into the 8th. Did not walk anybody. Struck out 8. Only allowed 1 earned run. I talked to a scout yesterday who said that we all know, who said that he turned him in as a 3rd rounder, but potentially could move up to the 2nd round if he continues to pitch great in the SEC. 1, does that grade surprise you? And 2, what are you seeing from Marceau this year that is making him so great?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've talked to a lot of scouts too, especially the Vandy weekend and the first weekend against Mississippi State. And Marceau is the 3rd, 4th rounder, but every time he pitches, he climbs up a little bit because he wins. Like the bottom line is, you want a guy that's going to win. He's got a really good fastball that moves. He's got great command of the strike zone. He's always ahead in the counts. He's a great competitor, and he's got a 3-pitch mix. Now, if he can get his velocity up over 92, pretty consistent, he's a first 2-round draft pick. I don't think there's any doubt about it because his pitchability is so high for the scouts that if that velocity is enough where he can beat a guy with a fastball when he's looking for a breaking ball, he can beat him, and he's going to go right to the big leagues. Like he's going to have a short, walk to the big leagues.
It's command center.
Because he's got everything that they got to teach him in minor league baseball. He's already got it. Now, I think he's having a great year. I think he's the key to success. And Ronnie, to kind of say what Tommy Chrysan said, Ronnie, I think you got to win 2 out of 3 the rest of the year. Average 2 out of 3, you'll be 14-7 with 21 games left. You add it to your previous, you got 15 wins. I think in the SEC that gives you enough of a power rating. So it's very doable if they keep it going.
TK, this week, LSU found out that Jaden Hill is out for the year. He's not going to be back. He's the guy that will still get drafted pretty high and enough money to go.
What's your reaction to LSU trying to pull off this kind of basically trying to turn around their season, without Jaden Hill?
Ronnie, I tell you what, Tommy, going along with you, I think, it's a shame for Dave. I mean, he's a great kid, and he really deserves better than that, but he's gonna have a nice career in pro ball. He's gonna be a high draft pick, as we all know. But moving forward, I like the way Paul's playing it right now, meaning I think if you can get Landon Marceau to give you 7 innings or more, if you can get AJ Leavis to give you 6 innings or more, then you go into Sunday. There's an advantage in a certain way if you kind of look at the positive of not having that designated Sunday starter, because you see the team for 2 games, you look at the hitters, and now you say, okay, well, we can match up our bullpen and our other pitchers against what they don't do well in certain situations with certain hitters on it. So I think, the coaching comes into play on Sunday if they match up the people they have left in the bullpen and put them all together and create a really good Sunday play.
Eddie James on Facebook said the early conference schedule was brutal. LSU's opponents through their first 3 weekends are ranked 5th, 6th, and 1st in the league, respectively. So, do you put, I guess, Tommy, do you put a little credit into that hey, the schedule's going to get easier for LSU, the chance to make up some room?
When you look at the schedule, Ronnie, one thing, from playing in, I've coached in it for 12 years, it doesn't matter when you win. You just got to win. Our goal is always to win 2 out of 3. To be 20-10 in the SEC. So it's kind of a withdrawal schedule. But this year, more than any, you're coming off a COVID year, and the teams you played early were all veteran teams. And we have very, very young, inexperienced team. And so that's tough, coming off and then starting the SEC the way you want to. Plus, we didn't have the schedule that Paul really designed for this year because of COVID. You had a lot of switches, a lot of changes. So maybe you didn't get the level of competition you really planned for early in the year. So it was a difficult start. But I think, they found their way. They're playing well. And again, one of the things when you were playing, Ronnie, it always seemed like right after we played a team and they played really well and shut us down, had a great series. The next weekend they get blown up.
Let them factor.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Vandy on Thursday, and they did on Friday, so Vandy and Georgia were tied 1 piece, but
Rocker got rocked in the 6th, and then but Jack Leiter got him back on the bump.
And Mississippi State did the same thing after they played us. So, you can give us a little credit here. Kids competing hard.
By the way, South Carolina lost last night their opening game to Missouri, so the Gamecocks find themselves 6-4 in the season. That'll be LSU's opponent next weekend. Also ahead on the schedule, Arkansas and Ole Miss, both of them 7-2, tied for the lead in the SEC West. So schedule, until you get down to Auburn, who's 1-9, and Alabama, who's 3-7. And A&M actually surprisingly is only 3-7, but you have them on the road. You don't get any. You don't get a little breather, especially with Arkansas and Ole Miss. LSU, in my opinion. And let me ask you this, TK and Dan and Cano. I think LSU, if they win 13 games, they can get into the NCAA tournament. I know that sounds crazy if you go 13-17, but the league is that tough this year. It's thought of that tough. The RPI backs it, strength of schedule, all that stuff. And with COVID, I'm guessing there's some teams or some regionals that might be a little different because some states are more open or closed than others. I don't know. But 13 wins, do you think, Tommy, that 13 wins gets LSU into a regional? If it's 13-17 in league? No. Kenna, does 13 get him in, or what's your percentage, I guess, at 13 getting him in?
Here's my thoughts on this one. I think 14 or 15 gets you in.
Lot, 100%.
14, you're 80%. I hate to say this, but the NC2A is all about parity and giving other people chances.
Right.
If there's ever a year not to let LSU in, if you got 13 wins, this is the year to do it. Let some team that's played well, like, for example, let La Tech get in instead of LSU. Right. But it's time. We've seen that happen before. It's like, okay, LSU's been there. The SEC, we're going to spread it out a little bit.
We don't want to have too many teams for the SEC, although there is ever a year when they deserve probably 10 teams. For sure, 10 teams, I think,
Needs to be in for the SEC.
But you're looking at it from a purely baseball standpoint. I think I'm not knocking the NC2A, but there's a lot of pressure from a lot of different areas, and they're trying to grow it throughout the United States. And like you're saying, it's going to be a down year for attendance with COVID because you're going to have some regionals with states 50%, some regionals 100% capacity. So it's going to be a different year. It scares me. 15 to me is the magic number.
tell us what's going on.
And then paper around, how much do you want to take off? Yeah, the lights are on. What part of town are you
I live over there.
TK, before we let you go, you used to be the best group golfer between the three of us here, and maybe you're second best now. But who do you have a prediction on who's gonna? Who do you like now that we're 2 days into the Masters? All right, so one prediction. I mean, you threw out a bunch of names. One guy to win it out of the ones you just mentioned, and you had to put $10 on it. Who would it be? Okay, all right. We'll see if you're right on Monday. All right, Tommy, thanks for joining us. TK, it's Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays on Sports Shorts Daily, which you can follow along by liking the 104.5 ESPN Facebook page or follow us on Sports Shorts. Give us a follow on our Facebook page, Sports Shorts. Ronnie Rantz and Dan Canterbury will be back for more from Roosters Men's Grooming Center and Town Center right after this break.
Stephanie.
She acted. And that guy is like the perfect guy. He's like the sugar daddy. He's got sweet. Oh, no, I'm talking about Rebecca. Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking there's another ex. Yeah, and they live in the same building. They live in the building with Woodward. Monto's condos, right there, but she likes.
Oh, really?
So she's renting a place in there.
What is it?
Yeah.
Well, you need building a house.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's over in Rizzo. He's building one right behind the high school.
Well, he lives in the building, Scott lives in the building, like, listen, well, that's how we met. He lived in the building, and the guy really pursued her, she was kind of, she went out a few times and told me about this. But he was kind of her, he was too bored for her. They're not. But, it's kind of, it's all in, just doors. Yeah.
One thing I want to say, talk about the issue last night. One thing I realized, Kentucky
Had to make a decision. Once they know they're not,
Watch the arm, like it shakes so much.
once they get behind and we're in good shape, you dump the game and you save your pitching. So you don't get any points for
Right.
how much you beat them by.
Right.
And
So
we
why
just-
throw Fontenot?
Huh?
Why throw Fontenot is what you're saying.
Yeah. But the other thing is, we could get a false sense of confidence. Like kids want to go like, okay, we got it now. And the fans are like, okay, we're back. And Kentucky's like, okay, we dumped your game. We're going to come back and win 2 out of 3 because we got our pitching safe. But good news is, Mangione's worse. He's a gadget coach. I was
Right.
talking to Jamie Tutko.
Watch yourself. The arm.
Huh?
Right. This thing is like super sensitive. Like, try not to touch it.
Jamie Tutko said, he's a gadget coach. Like he'll do something to make sure you know he's coaching.
Right.
You
Just
know,
like
I'm
Paul
gonna
does the hidden.
And only when he's ahead. Never when you need it.
Right.
You know, never steal a base when it's 0-0.
Right.
Only when you're up 2. He's the luckiest guy in America. $50 million loss in the second round of COVID.
No, Nikki Caldwell is the luckiest. Well, she's the luckiest woman.
No, but she's won. Doesn't matter because there's no buyout. Really.
Okay, her deal's up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, even if it is, it's not there. 3.6 million.
Right.
You know, pay the dude. Plus, you got to pay Alan Dunn. And I'm sure they got multi-year contracts.
Right.
But he's going to throw Alan Dunn under the bus. He's already prepared. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Hang on, be careful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Can they hear you?
yeah, I mean, like we're talking so loud they can't hear us, but I'll be too loud.
You mean like when Skip's on a break and it's
Right. But you know,
he should.
I think if they end up going 9-21 or 10-1, something catastrophic like that, it's going to be so miserable for him that and everybody's going to hate everybody. He's going to be on an island. He's got no friends. He's got no nothing, right? I think at some point he might take $1.5 million and a statue and a holiday day.
No statue. That ain't happening. Okay. I can tell you that right now.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBear's Casino over at Roosters Men's Grooming Center. 2 locations to serve you. Roosters open 7 days a week, so you need to get that haircut today, fellas, or you got your little man. Got to get him cleaned up for the birthday party, whatever it is. Come by Roosters, open 7 days a week. 2 locations, Town Center and Perkins and Highland. Ronnie Rantz alongside Dan Canterbury. Cano, what a week for LSU athletics. A lot going on baseball-wise. A big week. You're coming off of 1-8 start, which is the worst since the wood bat era, and then all of a sudden you find out you're preseason All-American really, and Jaden Hill is gone for the rest of the year. What do you think is the future for Jaden Hill? What is in the now, meaning the draft and all that? Like, assuming all goes well with his Tommy John surgery and he has the normal, they get in there and it looks like they thought it was going to look and everything goes well. What happens to him in the draft?
I think nothing changes, because the one thing about Jaden Hill that makes him intriguing to all the scouts is the raw potential and how good can he be. And with Tommy John surgery and basically not a lot of pitches behind him, they can put him in a minor league system, have him pitch his innings, and let him figure out how to win on the mound with some help from some pitching coaches. I think his draft status stays the same because they're drafting on his toolkit. His toolbox is really good.
But when you say stays the same, you mean the same as going into the season, the same as when it was last week? Because going into the season, there were some projections had him as a top 10 pick, top 5 pick. That's not going to happen now.
I think he's still going to go in the first one.
You do?
Because what's going to happen is, as you know, Ronnie, when you get on the draft, I was talking to a couple of scouts. One scout said, if we're picking late, and what's going to happen is he's going to be the best guy on the board. And they're going to take him because
the talent's going to be so much better than the other.
Potential.
Yeah.
And
he'll take a little hit with the bonus, though, because he doesn't have a lot of leverage.
Money because he's going deeper in the draft. He's still going to go first round. But the bottom line is, these days, the way Tommy John surgery, if you were talking 25 years ago, he'd lose a lot of money and lose a lot of draft. With the way doctors do it now, and they rehab, he'll be back in 9 months. They can pitch off the mound and get into it.
Yeah, potentially he might be there for spring training next year, full bore. Although if you do draft him, I think it'd be silly to just try to make sure he's back for full bore. This guy's not going to be in the big leagues next year anyway. He's got to work out a few things.
Well, he's going to learn.
And got to figure out which position he's going to be. Is he a starter? Is he a closer? Is he a middle reliever? Where is he going to be? And so I ask you that. Where do you project him?
I project him as a closer because he's got that fastball, because he's a guy that I think would pitch better with the pressure on the hitter to hit in a closing situation.
Yeah, expand the zone a little bit.
Expand it. They don't swing it. They're a little tight. They don't swing the same. He's got a great fastball. When he knows he's going 1 inning, he can blow it out. And he's got the wipeout pitch. But when you're a starter, you got to conserve pitches. You got to pitch to contact. You got to have a 3-pitch mix. You got to throw a lot of strikes early, get ahead of counts, and try to get 6 or 7 innings in to save your bullpen. So 2 different kind of jobs. I think the biggest thing for him, if he's going to be a closer, a reliever, is can he throw, 4 days in a week? Can he pitch, take a day off, pitch the next day, take a day off, pitch the next day?
By the way, Eddie James in online in our Facebook page on Sports Shorts and also on 145 ESPN Baton Rouge, he said LSU's conference batting average went up 25 points last night. Well, it'll do that when you're hitting 200. So you're hitting just a shade over 200. Going into last night's game, they get 17 hits against Kentucky, so now they're hitting, I think, 257. It was also good that we recorded more hits and runs last night than the entire Vanderbilt series. Well, a lot of teams probably have that situation, the Vanderbilt hangover. Did you see the Thursday game, talking about Vanderbilt, when Rocker got knocked around a little bit?
Yeah.
What did you see that caused that to happen?
I think we're a better hitting team than people give us credit for. In spurts, we have some bad at-bats in between. But I just think that our guys, Rocker's really good for us. And Leiter's the best kind of pitcher I've ever seen. He could be a pro.
No, but what I'm talking about is Georgia got to Rocker. He had the big strikeouts. He didn't walk many. He was good, but he had the big inning. What's your reaction to Rocker getting hit? Because a lot of people kind of, quite honestly, thought him and Leiter were going to just cruise the whole year.
Everybody has a bad out. That was it. Okay, you've been there. I've been there. Back when dinosaurs were the earth, but I've been there. And the bottom line is, he had a bad outing. He couldn't get it together. Then he lost some confidence, probably missed some pitches, didn't have a good feel. You don't know, but everybody has that. And I think that's it for him. I mean, that was his bad outing, and he's going to pick it up next week.
You saw Leiter up close and personal. Is he the number 1 pick in the draft for you?
I would be. Yeah, I just think he's really, 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 really good. I don't think there's any doubt about his stuff. His competitiveness, to me, is off the charts. And he's got the dad that pitched 19 years in the big leagues, and he's got a great family backing and a great knowledge base from having a dad like that. I just think he's a great pick for someone because he's almost pro ready.
Pretty much a lot. Yeah. Rocker is a little bit. Kumar Rocker is a little bit of a different story. He was the guy with all the hype for the last 3 years. Of course, he threw the perfect game with no hitter 2 years ago in the first season. But I'm not saying 94, 97 from him like we used to. Against LSU, he had 93 a few times. Mostly the game that he won was fastball. The week before against Missouri, that McDonald had, he said he was 89
to 93, touched 93 only once. And you know, his 89s and 90s. I mean, that's Landon Marceau. When you talk about 89 and 93, that's Landon Marceau. And we knock Landon Marceau and say he's going to be probably a third-round pick because he doesn't throw hard enough. But yet, it feels like Rocker a little bit's living off a reputation.
Right, and you know, there could be something there too. You know, we don't know. Maybe he's a competitor. He's not coming out. He's not feeling good. Another thing many people forget is cold weather. You know, I like warm weather to pitch. You did too. Some guys like Vandy's not exactly in a warm weather state. The other thing about Rocker is, and people forget, is especially now, video and scouting reports. You know, there's more hitting coaches that do a better job than when you played when I coached. There's more video and analysts and all kinds of people. So when you go into a weekend and you got Rocker on the mound, especially the first night, you can practice 2-3 days to beat him if he's the lead guy. So I think teams have a much better hitting plan against him and try to take away some of his strengths and, you know, hit that fastball.
The one thing that Rocker has too over Marshall, even though velocity was at the moment, they look to be pretty similar, is this height. He's about 4 or 5 inches taller, and so that projects. And then also, he throws a few different kinds of breaking balls, you know, different arm slots, and different speeds. So,
You know, Rocker, and he's very confident, can throw that sucker anytime he wants. But curious to watch and see how his velocity goes the rest of the year if it affects his draft stock. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if he's throwing 89 to 93, he's not a top 5 pick, which is what he was projected to be. I mean, I don't care how much you love him, just can't really justify that, giving that guy that kind of money and taking him. Because you need that talent to be a little higher. He's Dan Canterbury and Ronnie Rantz over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center in Baton Rouge. We'll take a break. Before we do so, we'll tell you about the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Golf Classic. It's our spring event. It's coming up at Latour Golf Course down in Matthews, Louisiana, right by Thibodeau in the Houma area. David Thomas designed golf course in 2009. We've got our Hall of Fame golf tournament. It'll be that Monday, May 3rd, 10 a.m. $25,000 putting contest, a Mercedes-Benz hole-in-one hole. A lot of great stuff going on. All kind of sports celebrities from around the state, past and present, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famers. And the night before, we got a great pairings party in Thibodeau from 6 to 9 at Flanagan's Restaurant and Bar. We'll have qualifying for that $25,000 putting contest. We got DJ Pastor Durb's open bar, live and silent auction, chance to schmooze. We'll have a photo booth opportunities for pros as well. So put it on your calendar and go to lasportshall.com. lasportshall.com. Put in a golf team or an individual golfer to be a part of that fantastic event May 2nd and 3rd at Latour Golf Course. We'll be back with more sports shorts right after this.
Yeah.
Matthews, Louisiana. Where's that?
It's right by Thibodeau. You know, you
Moving
go
down there instead of Alec?
No, we're doing a
Rotate
couple
around.
a year. So we're doing this one here because what's his name owns that golf course. He gave it to us to use. Trey Buckball.
Oh, Buckball.
He owns it. So he didn't charge us to do anything there. And he's actually playing in it and everything. But so he's gonna be there, but that's why we're there. And then Brian Shermy's down there too, is on a board. But then on September 27th, which is a Monday, we're doing a tournament at U Club in LeBears, in partnership with LeBears. We're doing one on September 27th. And then we may do another one in North Louisiana, like Shreveport, or maybe go over to Ruston and do one at what's his name's place? Great golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think it's going to be interesting what happens. Harvey, he can rally up the troops. I mean, like it's like us against the world now. He can use that plan.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Shorts. Coach Dan Canaveri joining us, former pitching coach for the LSU Tigers, part of 5 national championship teams at LSU. And people forget around these parts, Dan, you were on the staff at Miami when y'all won one as well.
With the phantom pickoff play.
You were part of that. Okay, so by the way, I cannot wait. May 24th is the Hold the Rope Skip Parkman documentary. It's going to come out on the SEC network that night. So set your DVRs when you get to that point you can. But May the 24th, it's a Monday, and it's the day after Skip's 82nd birthday.
And you know that because why, Ronnie?
It's my birthday, too. And David Miller's birthday.
D-Bill, all right. 3 different levels.
Yes, yes. But the skipper, it's Hold the Rope, 50-minute documentary, 10 minutes of commercials in there.
I was going to say, probably had the most amount of B-roll in the history. The guy took Mark Kinderman did a great job and really was excited and captured the whole ambiance of Skip and what he was.
Well, we had Mark Kinderman on last week to talk about, the day came out. He gave us a little insight just to the timeline. He interviewed 75 people or whatever it was. And I said, what are you going to do with all that extra B-roll? He said he asked ESPN for 90 minutes for 2 hours and they just wouldn't give it to him. And
And he said that, he said, the best thing you can do is everybody watch. If the ratings are good and they get a lot of emails, they get a lot of clicks on the app and all that sort of thing, then they'll know that people care. And hopefully some of that B-roll lends itself into other packages or a part two or a
Like
follow-up online or something.
30 for 30 did the U part 2.
Right.
And the same thing. Maybe they go more into depth and let's get this as an AD. Or
Right.
They do some things.
Does it end at him winning as becoming the AD, or where does it end? Where's the last part?
It takes him through the AD.
Okay, takes him.
You can still go back. There's so much.
Right.
There's so much there.
But the thing about it is there is so much, Cam. And by the way,
I lived it with him, so I'm happy.
yeah, by the way, where are we on the book? Is that dead or is that going to happen?
It's still happening.
Okay.
And it's rolling along. But with all the guy right here, this guy, Glenn Gilbert.
Right.
And with everything going on with LSU right now, he's got like a real job.
Right.
But
Realistically, and I'm here for years, 6 months, 3 months, next year, this time.
we're
Just,
close.
do you think within a year?
Yeah.
So within a year, obviously May 24th, the documentary's coming out. My thing is that roll the book out because there's going to be this resurgence of Skip Bertman interest in the next 6 months.
My thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
And, again, it's just trying to push it and try to get it right.
Yeah.
But I think we're at the point where we may get it out within 6 months.
Would love to, just throw this out there since you're a part of the team team book, Skip Bertman.
I'm part of the team.
book.
I'm just
But
part of Skip.
yeah, but I know Glenn runs a lot of the stuff in the book by you to just make sure it's factual and correct and all that. You're like a pseudo editor on this thing. But the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, our 2020 Hall of Fame class, which has Nick Saban in it and has Kent Lowe. Tim Brando is in it, Kerry Kittles, Lou Dunbar, many more, Phil Robertson. They're getting inducted the last weekend in June up in Natchez. It's a 3-day event, a lot of activities those 3 days, the last weekend in June. The 2021 class is we pushed them back. Normally they're the last weekend in June, but because of COVID, we had to move 2020 a full year backwards. We're going to do them the last weekend in August. So if somehow the book was out for any of those, we could have Skip come up to the museum, do a book signing up there, have Cox Sports Television there, really kind of do something. And I think people would love that. So hopefully that may be able to happen. But May 24th, Coach will be 82 years old. And the
83, man.
What's that? 82?
83.
It's 83? For sure? Wow. I guess COVID kind of messed me up. I just kind of
He lost
right
right
over it. So 100%, he's going to be 83. Okay. So 83 years old, which is amazing. I'd have had the under and lost, but he'll be 83. Will people, I know this is the thing that I'm curious about. If you're an LSU player, if you're Ronnie Rantz, if you're Doug Thompson, if you're Blair Barbier, Brad Cressy, whoever, will we learn anything new about this documentary? There's going to be stuff in there that we don't know.
Stuff you don't know.
Okay.
There's stuff you're going to know about Miami, the early days in Miami, the early days in LSU, but not just Skip telling you, from other people telling you.
Okay.
And so you get a little different perspective. And I think it's very, very entertaining. Unfortunately for me, there's nothing I don't know.
Right.
Like I said, I've been pretty much on the whole ride with Skip. And what a fascinating, for you folks that don't, what a fascinating man. And for your kids and your grandkids, like Ronnie said, DVR it. This is something for your kids to learn who this guy was, because very special man.
Well, what's interesting is that now it's 20 years now since his last season at LSU, and that's what Mark Henderson said. We haven't gone
Hanging with Handy the last week was we're 20 years removed from him coaching at LSU, and he's still a star. Which Kinderman was like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of coaches, they retire 20 years later, they're kind of, forgotten about, or they don't want the limelight or whatever. And he's like, Skip, he said he's still the man in Louisiana.
Well, he did something again, he was ahead of his time with so many things. But being the AD after being a baseball coach, now you're looking at Ray Tanner, John Cohen. And so he started another trend of, hey, wait a minute, those baseball coaches, they know how to manage scholarships. They never get in any trouble, with cheating or anything. And they manage their budget. They make it all work. And so he did that. So by being the AD for, 10 years?
not quite, but
9.5 years, he kind of stayed in that limelight, stayed in the public eye, and handled that well, and did a lot for LSU during that time.
2 football national championships, and baseball, and Final Four.
But the facilities and the point system and TAF and everything grew. Gymnastics, everything stepped up. And
4 or 5 women's Final Fours.
well, the one thing Skip I know is proudest of is after his last year, he retired, and then after that, the next year, all 20 teams made the NCAA postseason, which was his goal as an AD.
Pretty cool. That's really cool. Looking forward to it, man. That is going to be. I'm excited that you told me that I'm going to learn. So look, I would have watched anyway. I'd have loved it.
We have to.
Anyway. But I'm glad that I'm going to, as a guy who feels like I know everything, not as much as you, but pretty darn close. That I'm going to actually learn some new things is quite interesting. Only 15 minutes, and Mark Kinnaman worked 2 years, interviewed over 75 people, traveled all over the country. Did not get it. He said this. I said, "Did you get Albert Bell?" He said, "Nope, wouldn't do it." But didn't get Albert Bell, didn't get Smoko Bell. Those are the 2 people he wanted, and he didn't get.
But Ronnie, I think what you should do is get that B-roll from Kinderman, and they'll have a whole new shtick for Skip. You know, like you'll have all new material to work on for the next 20 years. You can use that stuff.
Absolutely. With that B-roll, I mean, we got that combined with the unofficial documentary that Papa John, the B-roll he's got somewhere that he worked on for a little while.
I think that has to be censored, doesn't it?
He's Dan Canterbury and Ronnie Rantz. We're over here at Roosters Men's Grooming Center. Cano will be with Skip tomorrow night, 6, 7 o'clock.
We're on at 7. We're at Sammy's about 6. Our guest, depending on bracket play in the Youth League tournament, is Doug Thompson.
And that's 100%. I mean, he takes it very seriously. He is Mr. Travel Ball Coach Dad, and they always have a pretty good team, so he may or may not be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a coin flip if there's a conflict with LSU baseball. You know.
When we come back from the break, our final segment of Sports Shorts, I want to talk about Cedric Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Who Cano coached and was a starter on that 2000 national championship team. Funeral yesterday for his 14-year-old son up in Arkansas. Many former players went. It's just an absolutely horrible thing for a great guy. We'll tell you about Cedric and about his wife and his son, Cedric Harris Jr., who tragically passed away a few days ago, actually, about a week ago. We'll get into that when we return. Sports Shorts presented by the Bears Casino.
By the way, the wake was yesterday, the funeral's today. Yeah, they're selling T-shirts. Did you see that? Doug didn't send it to you? They're selling T-shirts and proceeds go. And what he's trying to do is get the local guys here in Baton Rouge to all buy the T-shirts, then take a group photo. Yeah. I want to ask you this. If Thompson can't make it, can you pinch hit tomorrow night? Sure. Okay. I'm going to figure out who I can get. Maybe. Buzzy?
Buzzy's doing the Masters. He's in Marshall.
Good deal.
He's working whole 10.
I'll figure it out. Hopefully, what I'm hoping for is an all-day rain and they just bang the tournament.
Next player. Well, there's right over there.
Yeah, I've asked Blair 3 times. Maybe he gets back to me.
Yeah,
Well, you know, I get Pete Bush to come out of it. Sure. You know? Yeah, I could get Cougs. I tell you what, Susan Lipsy. Yeah?
personality, smart, energy.
Hey, hold on one second. Susan Lipsy called. We're moving out of our house and I've got all this memorabilia and I can only bring so much.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment of Sports Shorts presented by LeBear's Casino over here at Roosters in Town Center. By the way, LeBear's, great place to watch the Masters today and tomorrow at Stadium Sports Bar and Grill. And don't forget over there tonight at Edge, live music is back Fridays and Saturday nights over at LeBear's Casino. So a lot of fun going on now as we start to get things back to a little bit of normalcy. Dan Canterbury joined us, former LSU Tiger assistant coach. Cedric Harris, a guy who you coached, who beloved by his teammates, 97 to 2000 player. A lot of people, when they think back to that 2000 national championship team, Skip's final one, they remember the Brad Cressy base hit to left and Terrio scoring, and they remember the Ray Wright catch, and they were in outfield, and they remember
Trey Hodges,
Hodges
MVP.
being the MVP. They remember Hawk hitting homers in that series. But they don't realize that Cedric Harris hit like 370 that year, 375, something crazy.
You know what I remember the most about Cedric? And Skip and I were talking about this, a while back before the tragedy happened, is Cedric had a hamate, just like Warren Morrison.
Exactly.
He came back 15 days later and played played and never said a word.
Right.
Then he gets in a national championship game, and Skip has him square around the bunt, and he breaks a finger. Guy hits him on the hand. Breaks a finger, won't come out of the game. He comes up and gets a hit to keep an inning alive.
Right.
Probably one of the quietest, toughest players that ever played at LSU. And just a great teammate, loved by everybody. Great center field.
Mm-hmm.
And,
and that was a run, boy. LSU had a run of great center field. It really still has. It's always been a position.
Kerner,
I mean, you had Mike
Armando
Kerner
Rios.
and Armando Rios kind of all back-to-back kind of run there. All three highlight catches, fantastic center fielders, and then of course, you had J.C. Holt later on. You had Mikey Matuk. You had
Leon
Landry out there. I mean, my goodness. I mean,
at one time we had Jared Mitchell, didn't we?
Yeah, any of those guys could have played center field. You had Stevenson, who's in the big leagues now. I mean, it's just we think about so many positions at LSU. And center field kind of gets slept on a little bit, like Papa John in the 80s. So Cedric marries Marie Ferdinand, who maybe means he's not the best athlete in his own house. His wife was a great basketball player.
When they got married,
three-time WNBA.
Yeah, when they got married, Skip and I said we got to get the rights to the children right now because that DNA is good.
Well, Cedric Harris Jr. tragically 14 years old, passes away due to an ATV accident. And I know they're doing some things in his honor.
Yeah, Doug Thompson, Ryan Terrio, and a lot of all the guys. It's family, and they're trying to do some things. They got some stickers they want to sell over traction. With CJ T-shirts and things like that. There's a GoFundMe page that's out there, and there's a lot of things that are going on.
I know the LSU baseball team put CJ, the initials for Cedric Harris Jr. on their ball cap the other day, and some are still going to wear it. By the way, Cedric Harris, cousin of Jaden Hill. He's Dan Canterbury. I'm Ronnie Rantz. Thanks to Roosters Men's Grooming Center for housing us here at the Town Center location. They're open 7 days a week. Come by today. Get your haircut at Roosters Men's Grooming Center.
He played with a broken hand. Wouldn't come out again.
I remember the hamate. I forgot about the hand. That's
STA drops to 6. Okay, where are we at?